Torah Guardian, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.
Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Yasharal and Yahusha, grafted in Gentiles in the body of the Mashiach. We the people of the book broadcast is going down. You know what it is. Every Shabbat we come before you. Actually, we try to come before you every day, but on the Shabbat especially, we come before you with a word from Yahuwah. He has called me to cry loud and to spare not, to lift up my voice like a shofar in Zion, to warn the people that they must be born again of the water and of the Ruach HaKodesh. Listening to none other than Hezekiah. The song is entitled Freedom's Win. I don't own the rights to this music. Abba Yahuwah, in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, I declare that you are sovereign on this your Shabbat. You told me that from my belly in Hamashiach Yahusha would flow rivers of living water. Of this you spake of the Ruach HaKodesh, which we should receive. And Abba, I have received this Ruach HaKodesh in my belly. For I have been partakers of the water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh. And Yahuwah, I need you to speak through me. I need you to take the reins of my lips and the reins of my tongue and reign. Abba Yahuwah, I need you to take the reins of my lips and the reins of my tongue and reign. Abba, have total dominion. Be exalted in me. Be exalted in my flesh. Be exalted in me. Yeah, I don't want to cause anyone to stumble. I don't want to cause anyone to be turned out of the way. I don't want to cause anyone to come up lame. Abba Yahuwah, allow your word to be a lamp unto their feet, a light unto their pathway. Abba Yahuwah, strengthen them in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, I pray. Abba Yahuwah, I can do nothing apart from your Ruach HaKodesh. I refuse to speak a word without your Ruach HaKodesh. Now I am entreating you to go forth. In the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, I take authority over every evil Ruach, every Ruach of distraction, every Ruach of perversion, every Ruach of familiar Ruach. I take authority over these Ruachs that have come to cause division, separation, to limit and to hinder those who you have chosen from receiving the word. Abba, I pray that your word would go forth in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. I exercise my authority, my dunamos, and my exousia in the arrest. Now I'm asking you to bind them, cause them to cease in their maneuvers and activities in the Shamayim. Abba Yahuwah, I'm asking you to do it in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach. Abba Yahuwah, I am here to see to it that the word that you have given me go forth. And I'm praying in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach that you would allow your word to come forth. And let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Yahuwah, my strength and my redeemer. Hallelujah. All praise to Yahuwah on this Shabbat. We magnify and glorify the name of Abba Yahuwah because he is worthy of praise. And listen, I'm going to do this until, right? You know, my Aki was in the Shabbat lesson today. He was talking about how Hezekiah, right? Or not Hezekiah, Isaiah, right? How a prophet Isaiah prophesied throughout 4 kings, right? And that span was over 40 years, right? He prophesied the same message, right? Turn from your wickedness, right? Turn from your wickedness. Turn to Yahuwah. Turn to Yahuwah in keeping his Torah, right? Yahuwah has called me to cry loud and spare not and tell you, you got to be born again of the water and of the Ruach HaKodesh. You have to understand the value of Yah's salvation. You got to understand that there's no other name given unto men whereby they receive must be saved. Yahusha himself says, unless you are born again, you can't see the kingdom. Unless you are born again of the water and of the Ruach HaKodesh, you can't enter into the kingdom. Listen, Yahuwah is calling his people to come out of Babylon. And the only people Yahuwah is speaking to are those who have been born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh. The only people that are going to hear his voice are the people who he has called and he has chosen. They don't know when it's time to exit stage left. But Yahuwah is warning you right now to get ready. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Only the sealed are going to make it into his kingdom. Listen. Man, y'all, one of y'all hear the word of Yahuwah, hear the word of Yahuwah. Only those who are in this witness, only those who are born again of the water of the Ruach HaKodesh, only those that are sealed are going to enter into his kingdom. Only those that are sealed are going to see the kingdom, right? Only those that are sealed are going to see the kingdom, right? Only those that are sealed. You have to understand that Yahuwah is provided a Yeshua that brings to us an eternal weight of glory. A Yeshua that provides us access into his kingdom. But you have to be born again in order to receive this. You have to be born again in order to receive this. You got to be born again. You got to be born again. Man, if y'all want me, you got to be born again. Yahuwah has done all that he's going to do. In Yahusha Mashiach. Yahuwah has done all that he's going to do. In Yahusha Mashiach. Yahuwah has given you Yeshua, salvation, right? For you who have received the witness of Yahusha HaMashiach, Yahuwah has given you everything you need to get the job done in this witness. Babylon is falling. Babylon is falling. Now, make no mistake about it, right? Right? The daughter of Babylon is falling. She is an extension of Babylon. But this daughter, this whore, this United Snakes of America is falling. And Yahuwah has told us to flee, to remove ourselves from this wicked whore. Yahuwah is saying to you, get ready, get ready, get ready. Make preparations to leave. And as you make preparations to leave this whore, Yahuwah is going to move supernaturally to cause you to exit Babylon, to escape Babylon. Right? Listen, you are not captive to Babylon. You're not in bondage or slavery to Babylon. You can leave Babylon. There's many that have gone before you that have left Babylon. They've left this whore. They left this whore. And I guarantee you something. Yahuwah is going to pull me out of this whore. He's going to pull out the Torah guardian, the people that make up this Torah garden. He's going to pull us out of this whore. We're going to be the goats that go before the flock. Babylon's fallen. Babylon's fallen. Let's look at something. You would just put something in there, right? Just now. Ooh, fire. Okay, I got a better solution. Where is it at? Shoot, where is that at? Sorry about this gap. Let me see. Man, where is it? Okay. Goodness. MATTITHYAHU 23rd chapter. Amein I says patience. Right? He says here, right? Now, if Yahuwah, right, wants us to understand the necessity of receiving, right, his Ruach HaKodesh, his witness, right, he does so that we would understand that in receiving his witness, we will have everything we need in him, right? We have this treasure, right? This treasure that is in earthen vessels. We have the seal, right, that will give us understanding and clarity. It is this word, this ear to hear when Yahuwah is speaking to us, in order that we may know when it is, when the time comes, when we need to make a move, right? Right? Now, Yahusha says, right, in the 3rd verse of that 24th chapter, as he sat upon Mount Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, right, when shall these things be? Right? Right? Now, the things that be, right, he's referencing, right, what was said in the 23rd chapter, right, towards the end, when Yahusha said, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets, and stone them which are sent unto thee, right? How often would I have gathered thy children together, Jerusalem, right? Now, he's talking to Hebrews, because we're the ones that killed the prophets, and we're the ones that stoned the apostles, right? He says, even as he has gathered a chick in under the wing and would not, right? Behold, your house is left desolate, right? Now, Yahusha was speaking directly in relationship to the events that were going to occur at 70 AD, right? Right? For I say unto you, now this is 70 years after his death, right? I say unto you, cry loud and spare not, lift up your voice like a trumpet in Zion. Tell my people that they must be born again. Right? Right? Now I said that because Yahusha made a decree in reference to some events that were to occur. Right? Right? And he was preparing them for something that was going to take place, right? He says here, for behold, your house shall be left desolate. Your house shall be left desolate. Your temple shall be left desolate, right? He says, listen, for I say unto you, ye shall not see me henceforth, till ye shall say, blessed is he who comes in the name of Adonai Yahusha. Adonai, Yahuwah, right? Now we go to the 24th chapter, right? And the 24th chapter says, and Yahusha went out and departed from the temple. Okay, he was speaking to a reference to the temple. And the disciples came to him and showed him the building of the temple. They showed him the temple. All right. Right. And I'm sure they showed it to him in a manner which they were proud of the temple. Right? And Yahusha said unto him, see ye not all these things? Right? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be one here, there shall not be left here one stone upon another. Right? So, this elaborate temple was going to be plummeted. Right? Right? What another? That shall not be thrown down. Right? And he said, as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, man, tell us when these things be. Right? And what shall be the signs of the coming, right, of the end of the world, right? Now, see, the disciples, at this point in juncture, right, they did not have the Ruach HaKodesh. They had the Ruach HaKodesh with them in Yahusha Mashiach. Because Yahusha Mashiach had all power. He had the Ruach HaKodesh without measure on the Eretz, right? So here you have Yahusha Mashiach on the Eretz without measure, right? And these brews are looking for a sign, right? They want to be able to see with their eyes. What would be a something that they can see, right? He says here, Yahusha said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. Right? Listen, don't get deceived. Right? Now listen, I'm going to tell you like this. If you have Yahuwah's Ruach HaKodesh in you, and you're trusting Yahuwah, and depending on him to reveal his plan and his purpose in you, right? And if you're seeking Yahuwah with your whole heart in the Ruach HaKodesh, you won't be deceived. Right? Right? But if you are always looking for something, right? You're always looking to hear a word, right? You're always looking to hear something different, right? You always got, sometimes you got itching ears. You're relying on what you see and what you hear from others that may not even remotely be ruachally inspired. Right? But you listening and you pulling in that information, right? Right? You can be deceived. Right? You can be deceived. But Yahusha says to the disciples, listen, don't let no man deceive you. Right? He says, listen. He says, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. Now. Over there, right, in the place that they have designated, constructed and built this temple, they have now declared, right, that there is the Mashiach. He's there. Right? But they've said that many times before. They've said that several times before, right? That the Mashiach is come, right? And throughout time, there have been people who says, come follow me, I am Mashiach, or I am your deliverer. I have salvation, right? He says, many. And they go deceive many. He says, yet, listen. Right? Verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. We hear of wars and rumors of war. What's the big? Now is World War III. World War III. The apocalypse. Rumors. Putin is going to threaten nuclear war against the West. Wars and rumors of wars. Right? Right? On the media, man, all they talk about is the end of the world. Right? End of the world. Right? Right? But, you know, if we have you as Ruach HaKodesh and we're tracking scriptures, right? We understand that time is in Yahuwah's hands. Right? See, because we don't hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right? But that doesn't mean the end of Yahusha's return is upon us. Yahusha said unto him, then, take heed that no man deceive you. Don't get tricked into believing that I'm coming. Don't let people forecast my coming. Because first of all, they don't know anything in reference to what's going to happen, because you have to have my Ruach and you have to be born again. You know, and all these people that are Jesus, earth pig, Christianity, you got to be born again of the water of the Ruach HaKodesh. You have to be in Mashiach Yahusha. You can't be void of Torah. You can't be void of the Shabbat and receive revelations from Yahuwah. It's not going to happen. Don't be deceived. He said, listen, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. Right? Right? And what's that Greek word, trouble?
Strong's G 2360. Thraeo.
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 To wail. To cry aloud, make noise by outcry. Right? Don't get caught up in making noise. Don't get caught up in the outcry. Right? Right? To be troubled in mind. Don't be troubled in mind. You hear of chemtrails. You hear of chemical spills. You hear of shortages, right? Food shortages, power shortages. But be not soon troubled. He said, listen, don't be troubled, right? don't become overwhelmed. You know, this media system, right, can overwhelm you if you don't have Yahuwah's Ruach. And even if you have Yahuwah's Ruach and you pay more attention to the media than you do to the word and to the fasting and the praying and the seeking Yahuwah, it'll overwhelm you. He said, but listen. Don't let your mind be troubled. Right? He says, listen. He says, right? And ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars, and see not that ye be troubled. Right? Right? Don't become worried. Don't let your mind become overexerted in anxiety. Right? Right? Because all must come to pass. This has to happen. There has to be wars and rumors of wars. Right? Babylon has to fall. Right? But Yahuwah will send a word by his Ruach HaKodesh that will tell you to prepare. He will send an anointed man of Yahuwah that will say to you, get ready, get ready, get ready. Isaiah preaching to the kings of Yasharal for 40 plus years, telling them to repent. Enoch, the 93rd chapter, 17th verse, speaks of Yahuwah raising up righteousness in the end of that 7th week, plan of righteousness. If you look at Enoch's weeks, right, they're years. They span years of time, right? At the end of the 7th week of Enoch, he's establishing righteousness. You're hearing wars and rumors of wars. Be not shaken. Yahuwah is establishing righteousness from an everlasting plan of righteousness. He's calling me to warn you to get ready for the great reveal. He's warning me he's warning you that you must be born again of the water of the Ruach HaKodesh. Gotta be sealed. You got to be sealed. You got to be sealed in order to know and to discern what's happening. You got to be sealed. He said, listen, for all these things were italicized and added, but all must come to pass. But the end is not yet. Listen, you got to come out of Babylon because Babylon's got to fall, but that is not the end. The end of the United Snakes is not Yahusha's Mashiach's return. The destruction of Babylon. The destruction of Babylon. This daughter, this whore, right? This daughter, this whore, that's going to be destroyed, right? Yahuwah is warning he's warning Yahudah to come out from among her and go back to where your lands are because she is going to be destroyed. He's telling you to get ready. Get ready. Listen, you know what? I'm on my Facebook, right? I posted something about preparing, right? And I put a picture up. It was an old picture, right? Right? It was an old picture, right? And this old picture, right, was of Hebrews that migrated from the south, right? It was during the Great Migration from 1910 to 1930. Years. You know. You would say, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. We may not have 30 years, we may have 3 years. People moved. Right? They moved and migrated in 1910 to 1930. Did they face opposition? Did they run into these individuals that would try to take them back and bring them back into bondage? These people had cars. They were driving. Our people. Yahuwah says it's time to flee Babylon. Yahuwah has called us to remove ourselves, to flee out of the midst of, to go out of the midst of, to go ye forth from, flee the land of. Deliver thyself, O Zion. Our people. Our people. There's nothing new under the sun. Babylon is fallen. There has to be a one world government. There has to be a one world order. Babylon must fall. We must return back to the continent. Listen, that's why they do the things that they do to us in Babylon, and they don't care because they understand that it's going to fall. They understand the monetary system is going to fall. They understand that these things are going to happen. Listen, they're doing stuff right now. Listen. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Get ready, get ready, get ready. It's time to go. Get ready. Is it this year? Is it next year? But get ready. Because as soon as you have what you need to leave, then go. And if you have enough for somebody else, take them with you. Deliver yourself. Be the ram, the he-goat that goes before the flock. He says here, for all these things must come to pass, Matthew 24:6. They must come to pass, but the end is not yet. The end. The end when Yahusha returns. And at the unto him at the gathering is going to people going to be. For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, Hebrews 8:8. Behold, the days come, saith Adonai, when I will make a renewed covenant with the house of Yasharal and with the house of Yahuda. I'm going to bring righteousness from an everlasting plan of righteousness. I am going to cleanse them from their idols and from their filth. I'm going to take out their stony heart and give them a new heart of flesh. And I'm going to put my Ruach HaKodesh within them, that they may keep my laws, my statutes, and my commandments. It's not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand and led them out of the land of Mitzrayim, because they were diabolical. They weren't renewed. They weren't regenerated. They didn't bear the witness of Yahusha Mashiach in their body. They weren't giving. They didn't have their sin consciousness removed. They weren't made new in the witness in the blood of Yahusha Mashiach. They didn't have a perfect atoning sacrifice. Right? They didn't have that which would cleanse them from the inside out. Yeah, they had to wash, but they provided a sacrifice that Yahuwah was satisfied with until Mashiach. It never affected their heart. It never caused them to have the word written in their hearts. We have the word written in our hearts because Yahuwah has cleansed us from all unrighteousness and sin, and thereby given us, right, his Ruach HaKodesh, which will cause us to keep his laws and commandments. We can read it with our minds and have it in our hearts. It's not the same. He said, I'm not taking you by the hand like that. I put my Ruach HaKodesh in you. I've given you Yahusha HaMashiach. You know what he did? What Yahuwah did? Yahuwah put out a call to us. He helped us at the appointed time to know that we were his people. We recognize that we are a specific bloodline of people. A specific bloodline of melanated people. We're E1B1A. We're not E1B1B, but we're E1B1A. Right. It's Shemitic. Right? We have Abraham as our father. That call was necessary for us to recognize that we've sinned and our forefathers have sinned, but there still needed to be an atonement. There still had to be an atonement. There still had to be blood. There still had to be blood, innocent blood. And you know, Yahuwah satisfied that with Yahusha HaMashiach's witness. And not only did he didn't just cover our sins with the blood of goats and the calves and all of that, which he said he had no pleasure in, but he allowed that because that would cover you until the revelation or the revealing of a Mashiach. Mashiach's blood was so necessary because there was no we had to have a kinsman redeemer. You know, the blood of goats and calves couldn't cleanse us. It only covered. He ain't doing it no more. He made better provisions. Right? He says, listen. Led them out of the hand of Egypt. Right? We went into Mitzrayim, but Mitzrayim was slavery. We went into bondage shackles again. Because they continue not, and it's because we didn't continue in that which the prophets and the apostles had delivered unto us. And you know, the persecution and everything that came along with it, right, caused a darkening to occur. The world became evil and darkened. Became night. And Yahuwah had to bring about the witness again in us. Not in Christianity. Christianity ain't no witness to to Yahusha Mashiach. That's all error. That's all religion. That's all perversion. That's wrong. Yeah, the Basor and the Torah, right? But listen, what they did with it was wrong. They distorted it and they perverted it. These people have an agenda. They know who they serve. It's just these people that are on the bottom that don't got enough sense to understand by just exploring things further, because they take what they say. And they take them. What they say as if it was. That's why he said you don't need no man to teach you. If you have the Ruach HaKodesh of Yahuwah, it'll lead you and guide you to all truth. Does that mean a man of Yah, a woman of Yah, who have the Ruach HaKodesh of Yahuwah is not qualified to teach? Yes, but that alone is not going to be the source of your knowledge. You have to get in there by the Ruach HaKodesh and search the scriptures and find out what Yahuwah is saying. You gotta do it, man. You gotta do it. You can't go off of what somebody else is saying. You gotta know what it says for yourself. He says, to lead them out of that land of Mitzrayim, because they continue not in my covenant. They didn't continue in his covenant when they were in Mitzrayim. He took them out of Mitzrayim. They were in the covenant up until the time that the patriarchs died off. The leaders of the tribes, Yehuda, Ephraim, when all of them died off, take our people, but sometimes a generation. A generation come up and, he ain't doing that no more. They continue not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith Yahuwah, or Adonai. I didn't regard them. They didn't keep my covenant. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Yasharah after those days. This is what he's doing, right? Saith Yahuwah, I will put my Torah into their minds and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them an allure, and they shall be my people. That's what Yahuwah did. Nation, Matthew 24:7. For nation shall rise against nation. Kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famine and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Tell me that's not now. Tell me that's not happening now. Tell me not rivers and lakes are drying up. Tell me not the Euphrates River is dried up. Right? Tell me that the lands are experiencing desert-like conditions. Tell me. It's not happening. It is. It's happening now. Right, but it's still just the beginning of birth pains. It's still the beginning. Babylon's falling. The fall of the daughter of Babylon is not Hamashiach's return. Yeah, I said it. In the Ruach HaKodesh. The daughter of Babylon has to fall. She has to fall. And before she falls, you got to come out of her. Is that the end? No. But it has to happen. Because it's one of those things that has to come into play to cause the shift around the world where they will establish this sense of peace. You know, President Biden just signed some, signed some order to make us a part of this universal thing that gives this one entity that is sponsored by Yates financially, right? And this entity controls what happens when there's a pandemic across the world or across the lands of the people that are signed into this program. They don't have it on the continent because the continent ain't signed into it, right? But you know, like some of these other countries, you know, like America and Canada and, you know, all these European, they like, we're gonna give this company that's founded by Yates, power to determine what's a pandemic and what should be done. And you know, he already predicted the next one. These things have to happen. These things have to happen. They had to have vaccine. They had to have a need for a vaccine. They had to have this situation occur, right? They had to, in order to present Maxine, Claudine, and Aberdeen, because they needed to know what it looked like. They needed to know what the plausible outcome would be. So when it really happens, right? They can establish this one entity that supports this in order to bring peace. Nation shall rise against nation, kingdoms against kingdoms. There shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places. Major earthquake in Syria. There's an earthquake or something that occurred in Africa that split the continent, split the portion of the continent, right? I don't know what that's going to develop into, but Yahuwah knows, right? He said, but all these things are the beginning of sorrows. Babylon's falling, And it's necessary for Babylon to fall in order to progress. But that's the beginning of sorrows. It's necessary for the daughter of Babylon to fall. It's necessary. Just like it was necessary for the Greeks to fall in order for the Romans to rise. It became necessary for the Romans to fall. And yet the beast survives. It's necessary that the United Snakes of America fall. Her judgment is set. But this is the beginning of pains. Right? He says here, it's just the beginning. Then shall they deliver you up. And they did some of this already. Because everything Yahuwah does, he declares the beginning from the end from the beginning. But they're going to deliver some of us up. Why are they going to deliver us up? Because we walk around here talking about talking ruthlessly and doing the things that they were doing, that, you know, it's like their fathers. Or is it because we're in this witness and we're preaching this Basora, and this Basora is bringing opposition, and that opposition is leading to us being brought up? Because see, that's what happened to the apostles, right? The apostles and the prophets. That's what happened to them. They was preaching a message that the world didn't like. You get over in the continent, right? Amongst our people, right? Preaching the witness. Because that's what happened. That's what happened. Yeah, we were stoned and left for dead. Shaul was stoned and left for dead. Right? Yahusha motivated that. Prophecy must be fulfilled. Yehuda has to go home. His hands got to be on the neck of his enemies. All these things are the beginning of sorrows. And they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and shall be hated, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Yes, this is a fact today. Right? They hate us. Today, the nations. Listen, in I don't care what country, in every country, there's a hatred for us. Not everybody in the country hates us, but there's this hatred of us in these other nations. You know, and these United Snakes of America have facilitated that. With the introduction of TV and radio, and you know, they put forth this image of us, you know, and some of us, we just bought into it hook, line, and sinker. You know, there's a show called what's it called? It's about this cocaine dealer. What's it called? Snowball, something. The Snow White. Anyway, it's about cocaine. Right? So, you know, they glamorize it. Right? We got like that. Right? What they do is, this goes everywhere. And it creates an image of who we are. They've done that concerning us from the time the TV came on. They misrepresented us. And these nations hate us because of the misrepresentation of us. Listen, I was watching this documentary of the Negroes that were in the Vietnam War, and how when they got over to this base, came over on the base, they went out into the culture, and they was calling them niggers. Like, niggers? How you know what a nigger is? I mean, perfect English nigger. They wasn't just saying it in their language. They was saying it in English. Because they had already put out propaganda, the United Snakes, against us, the soldiers. I've already done it. Right? They're going to deliver us up. They did it to the apostles. They delivered them up because they were preaching this witness. They were keeping Torah with faith in the Mashiach. That's why they were delivered up. That's why they delivered up. They weren't worshiping Jesus. They was worshiping Yahusha Mashiach. They were keeping Torah. Fox said something beautiful today. He said, you know what? When Shaul was writing these letters, these were letters. They were letters that were generated as a result of what he had already taught them in Torah. Right? See, the Christian church is taking the letters, right, without the Ruach HaKodesh, without having really dug deep into the Torah, into the original covenant, to find clarity in the Ruach HaKodesh. See, but it's because they're diabolical. Everything about what they do is diabolical, right? They tell you not to keep the Torah. They tell you not to be worried about the law, statutes, and commandments. They tell you, oh, just start in Matthew. Don't worry about all the rest of that stuff. Actually, don't even go to Matthew, because Matthew get into all of them names. Begot this, begot that, begot this. That's just not important. Just skip all of that and get to the birth of Jesus. See, because he prayed, genealogy is important to us. It's not important to them. Yahusha said, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. Let's go get offended. Offended. Because of the truth. Truth is the new hate speech. Get offended. Right? They gonna hate you. They gonna hate me because I tell them that Pornonia, G4202, Strong's Blue Letter Bible Concordance, G4202, G4204, and G4205 is an abomination to the Most High. What is that? It's illicit sexual intercourse. It's illicit sexual adultery. It is homosexuality, right? It is lesbianism. It's sex with animals. It's males having sex with young boys. G4205. It is a whoremonger. G4205. Listen. The catamite. Right? They gonna hate you. How dare you say that? What are you? What are you? A gender? You got gender phobia? See, they condition. They just force you to entertain it. Force you to entertain it, right? And the only way you cannot entertain it is paying for it, right? See, because my Aki's like, because he like me, we watch documentaries on YouTube and stuff, right? But he said, Elder, I ended up paying that whatever I need to pay a month because, those commercials, man, they be like, they just full of porno media. And he right. You don't have a choice. You got to listen to some of it in order to skip it. But if you skip it too much, they gonna put the brakes on you and they gonna make you listen to the next 3. Gonna be hated. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. It's time to go. It's time to remove out of the midst of Babylon. It's time to flee out of the midst of Babylon. It's time to go out of the midst of Babylon. It's time to come forth and flee out of Babylon. It's time to deliver yourself, O Zion, that dwelleth in the midst of Babylon. It's time. Now again, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. You must be born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh. First and foremost, your priority should be to be a part of Yahuwah's family. Your priority should be to be in the kingdom of Yahuwah. To be under the dominion of Yahuwah. To have Yahuwah's Ruach in you. And then that positions you to hear. Because now you have his Ruach and he's going to communicate with you by the Ruach. Right? And when he says, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, flee Babylon, then you'll understand by what you hear when he tells you when to go. You go, there's no way in the world. There's no way in the world. Me, my wife, staying in the United States of America. And for some reason, if she does not want to leave, there is no way in the world I'm staying in Babylon. When Yahuwah told me to flee. It's because I ain't crazy. I'm going to do what the Most High says to do. And the whole, you have to be willing to submit yourself to the Ruach HaKodesh of you. You got to be willing to hear what he has to say. And listen, it ain't rocket science to me. Flee. Right? Don't be sitting back waiting saying, well, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to ride it out. Right? Well, you go ahead and ride it out. No, I just bought a house. I just bought a new car. I just got all this stuff. You go ahead. You don't know that stuff. Ain't nothing that I got that can't be sold. Nothing I got that can't be sold. Nope. Nothing. Truck up for sale now. 21 grand for the first one who wants it. Yeah, but that's gonna go to the fund. You better get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. You better get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. You better get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. He says, and all these things are the beginning of sorrows. Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted and kill you. And that's what happened to the apostles and the prophets. In this time when he's raising up righteousness from an everlasting plant of righteousness, these people are going to be preaching this witness. He's raising it up again, right? Because it was down. was in darkness. He says, and then shall many be offended and betray one another and shall hate one another. Yeah, they gonna hate you for telling the truth. Because that's the new hate speech, the truth. Right? People gonna get offended. Right? Offended. Right? Right? It's okay. Get offended at the truth. Right? It's okay. Right? He says, and then shall they be offended and betray one another and shall hate one another, and many false prophets shall arise and deceive many. I tell you, ain't that this day? You got false prophets in Israel. You got Hebrews that are false prophets. These Hebrews are pushing a chart that's false. Now, are there Hebrews in those areas? Absolutely. But not everybody in that area is Hebrew. Hebrews are E1B1A. That's their Y DNA. See, but it doesn't really matter if you're born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh. Hear ye, hear ye. You're in the family. But these wicked brews lied. These Christian faith leaders, all these leaders are liars. False prophets shall arise and deceive many. But he that shall endure until the end shall be saved. He who was born of the water and of the Ruach HaKodesh, right? Who endures all of this stuff till the end shall receive Yahusha. Right? Right? He says, and this Besorah of the kingdom shall be preached. This Besorah. This Besorah. Not Christians' gospel, but this Besorah. This Besorah that brings Yeshua through faith in the blood and obedience to Torah. This Besorah. This is not what the world has been taught. This is what not the world has been preached. This is not what Constantine took over to everywhere where he conquered. This is not that. This has to be preached. This witness of Yahusha Mashiach has to be preached. See, and you know, that's the thing. Like, oh, well, the gospel has been preached throughout the whole world. Then, no. I'm sorry, no. See, you was waking up his people because, he's got to bring the witness to his people first. Listen. Yahuwah does everything the way he's done it. Right? Except where he mentions he's doing it different. And he mentions that he ain't bringing us out of Mitzrayim again by the hand. Hence the flee Babylon, leave Babylon, depart Babylon, go from the midst of Babylon, leave out of the midst of. Which means that it's in your power to do it. Because you are in his witness. You were born of the water, the Ruach HaKodesh. You have everything you need to get this job done. You have everything you need to get this job done. You can see it through. He said, but he that endureth to the end. Let's just look at this. Look at the Greek word for endure. Right? The Greek word for endure is
Strong's G 5278. Hupameno.
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 Hupameno. He says that means to remain, to tarry behind, to remain, to abide, to recede, right, or flee. Man. He that endures. Matter of fact, let's look what Merriam-Webster says about endure. What's Merriam-Webster say about the word endure? Merriam-Webster's definition for endure. Continuing in the same state. He that continues in the same witness. Right? Right? To remain firm under suffering. Right? Or misfortune without yielding. No. You're remaining in the witness, the water, the blood, and the Ruach HaKodesh, in the midst of suffering. Right? Right? To remain firm under suffering or misfortune without yielding. To undergo, especially without giving in to suffering. To regard with acceptance or tolerance in spite of the pain. Let's look at the word end in the Greek. The word end is
Strong's G 5056. Telos. Telos.
Right? It is the termination, the limit at which a thing ceases to be. Always of the end or of some act or state, but not to the end of a period of time. At least that's what he's saying. Right? So the idea is the end of the state or a period, but not a period of time. Let's do this. Let's look at it. Let's take endure off of end. And Merriam-Webster's of it says the part of an area that lies at the boundary. Right? So in order for there to be an end, there has to be a boundary. Right? A point that marks the extent of something. Right? You must endure to the extent where the time to endure ceases, which is in the Father's hands. Right? The extreme or last part lengthwise, right? The tip or the end. The terminal unit of something, right? Kadar, be quiet, go lay down. That is marked off by units. The end. The sensation of a course of action, pursuit, or activity. The cessation or when something ceases. Right? The end. Now Yahusha says, and he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall receive Yeshua. Right? Right? Now, verse 12 says, because iniquity shall abound, which I must have skipped. Right? Because of iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Right? Right? Now, iniquity abounds. Iniquity, let's look at iniquity. Iniquity is
Strong's G 458. Anamia.
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 The condition of without law or lawlessness. It is contempt or violation of the law. So you contempt law, right? You have contempt for the Torah. You have contempt for the witness of Yahusha HaMashiach. Let's do this. I want Merriam-Webster's on this one too. Merriam-Webster's on iniquity. Right? Let's look at iniquity. Merriam-Webster. Right? Iniquity. Gross injustice. Wickedness. Now these are synonyms. A wicked act or thing. Sin. Right? Merriam-Webster. A wicked act or thing. Sin. Gross injustice. Wickedness. See what the verb is. Got the verb up here? Is that a verb phrase? Okay, here's the noun. It is complete injustice or wickedness. Right? It's complete injustice. Listen, Hebrew. We already know the system of Babylon is wicked and it is unjust to us. We know that it is wicked and unjust to us, right? Something that is unjust or wicked, right? Something that is unjust or wicked. Complete injustice. Right? So, Yahusha saying these are the indicators. Right? Injustice and complete wickedness. Right? The system is unjust to us. Babylon is unjust to us. Though we're not in slavery to Babylon. You can buy 20 acres, you can buy 1,000 acres of land in Colorado, right? Right? And have the people do all kinds of manner of wickedness and evil to you because of the race of your skin and because of your race, right? And you be put in jail. Wicked. Listen. Wicked. He said, listen. And this Besorah of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto the nations, unto all nations. This Besorah. Not Christianity. This witness, bro. This Hebrew witness of Yahusha Mashiach. This witness. What you doing? This witness. He said, listen. Then shall the end come. He said, now listen. When therefore you shall see the abomination of desolation spoke of by Daniel the prophet standing in the holy place, who reading let him understand. Listen. The abomination of desolation happened already. Happened during 40 AD. He says, then let him which be in Judea flee unto the mountains. There came a point in time when Yahusha told them to flee. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Flee this whore. Flee Babylon. It's time to leave. Prepare yourself. Yahusha said unto them, let them that be in Judea flee unto the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to get his clothes. Woe unto him that are with child and them that give suck on those days. Right? But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Shabbat day. I'm leaving Babylon. I ain't leaving on the Shabbat, but I'm leaving Babylon. I'm leaving Babylon. Leaving Babylon. Leaving Babylon, you. Leaving Babylon. Yahusha told him to flee. Yahusha told him to flee. Right? He told them to flee Jerusalem. Leave their home. He told them to flee Jerusalem, to leave their home. We went north. Bulk of us went south. Let him that is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Listen, listen, listen. When Rome ceased, they arrayed themselves and they cut off people from going in, people from coming out. Cut off food supplies, water supplies, all supplies. Let him which is on the housetop not come down and take anything out of his house, neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe to them that are with child, and to them which give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight, right, be not in the winter, neither on the Shabbat day. Listen, listen, listen. You will say, get ready, get ready, get ready. Listen, y'all can leave. You who have the ability to leave Babylon, leave Babylon. You know what? I was listening to the news, or your news channel, and they were talking about how people are leaving the United States in mass numbers. Now, mass numbers for them, you know, where are they going? Some of them are going back to their home of origin. Some of them are going to some of these European countries, right? Right? Anything other than Babylon. You know, some of them are going down into, some of them trying to go on the continent. You know, some of them trying to buy up land, you know. There ain't gonna be no building no community in Africa. It's not governed by the laws of the land. Nah, ain't no more communities like the Afrikaners. That's gonna cease to exist too. They're leaving. They're going. They're migrating. They're departing. They understand what's happening. They understand the banking systems. Here, Yasharal and Yahuda, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. He says, but pray ye that your flight be not in winter, neither on the Shabbat day. For then shall be great tribulation, as was not seen since the beginning of the world. Great tribulation. Right. He says, tribulation such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. That's why you gotta flee. He says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. Now you gotta understand, right? This is a relationship to time. Sometimes when we read scriptures, we see one scripture as a day, and the next scripture as 2 days, 3 days later, and in the next scripture a week later, and see, if you have Yahush's Ruach HaKodesh, you're going to know what to do, because he's going to lead you and guide you into truth. As many as are led by the Ruach HaKodesh, these are the sons of Yahuwah. We don't move in fear, because he's not giving us the Ruach of fear. He's giving us the Ruach HaKodesh of power and of love and of a sound mind. Except those days be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. When you get to this part here, you're approaching the appearing of the Mashiach, right? Right? You know, these people are fleeing, right? They're going to flee because the tribulation is going to come. There was a tribulation that came. That went into Babylon. That went into Jerusalem. In 40 AD, a persecution. What the Romans did, man, goodness gracious. Roman armies did. He said, listen. For then shall be then at that time great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. He says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Now, what's the elect's sake? What is that? That's Greek.
Strong's G 1588 eklektos.
Electos.
Eklektos.
To pick out the chosen of Eluah, to obtain Yeshua through Mashiach, Yahusha. He says, listen. What does it say? Except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh receive Yeshua. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is a Mashiach, or there, believe it not. Right? Again, for there shall arise false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, inasmuch as that it is impossible. Wonders, insomuch so that if it were possible, they would deceive the very elect. That's Christianity. That's some faith healers. They shall deceive, they would deceive the very elect. Man of Yah, woman of Yah. You have to understand that the Ruach HaKodesh is that which Yahuwah, the witness is that which Yahuwah has given you. That is your seal. This seal is designed, this Ruach of Yahuwah is designed to separate you from everything and everybody. Puts you under a total different dominion. In this dominion, he's going to warn you. He's not going to come grab you by the hand. He's not doing it that way. He's going to warn you in the Ruach HaKodesh. And you are going to know when it's time to leave. Trust Yahuwah's Ruach. You got to believe Yahuwah and Emunah. You got to believe every word that he says that he's capable of bringing to pass. You got to understand that, you can't stagger it what Yahuwah says. How long this is going to be, I don't know. I can't tell you how long it's going to be before Babylon falls. But I know he said get ready. Because he's about to reveal some things. You better get ready. Listen, and listen, you have to have the Ruach HaKodesh. Period. Listen. Where is that? Let's do it this way. I'll go back to this. There's a reason why Yahusha said everything he says. There's a reason why Yahusha says everything he says. Right? Right? When Yahusha says, and he that believeth shall be saved, and that he that believeth not shall be damned, Mark 16:16, right? Because again, he tells them to go into all the world and preach the witness of Yahusha HaMashiach to every creature. Right? Preach the witness. Right? The witness is the truth, the Torah, the Besorah, the be born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh, to teach them the Yeshua. Right? Bring them the Yeshua. He says, he that believeth and is baptized shall receive Yeshua. He that believeth and is baptized shall receive Yeshua. And he that don't believe shall be damned. Right? And these signs shall follow them to believe. Right? What signs? Signs that come as a result of having believed what Yahusha has said and receiving the Ruach HaKodesh. These signs shall follow them to believe. Because you're going into the world. And you're going into the world not powerless, but with power. You're going to the world after the day of Pentecost, having received the baptism of the Ruach HaKodesh, because you've already had the water experience. Now you have to have the infilling of the Ruach HaKodesh in order for these signs to follow you. Right? And these signs shall follow them that believe in my name. They shall cast out devils. Right? You shall speak with new tongues. Right? You shall take up serpents. If you drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt you. Listen, you need the Ruach HaKodesh because there's so much stuff that they done gave you and are giving you that's designed to kill you. Listen, you know, you got to have the Ruach HaKodesh, right, in order to defeat Maxine, Claudine, and Aberdeen. And I'm not telling you to get Claudine, Maxine, or Aberdeen. I'm telling you that if you had, then you can get born again in you who was Ruach HaKodesh and be kept. Why do you think you said these things? They were for us. They were for us. Claudine, Maxine, and Aberdeen is a serpent. You shall lay hands on the sick and they recover. Man of Yah, woman of Yah, this is Shabbat. Right? And we the people of the book broadcast is going down. I'm just one in the wilderness crying loud in spirit now. I'm just one lifting up my voice like a trumpet. I'm just one trying to show you by the scriptures what Yahuwah is saying to the assemblies. Right? I'm just trying to show you what this means. But the reality is only those who are born again of the water and the Ruach HaKodesh are going to understand.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Welker in for Lester. We begin tonight with the new front in the war on COVID-19. That new, more contagious strain of the virus, first identified in Britain, has now been found in 2 U.S. states, Colorado and now California. There have been questions tonight about just how widespread it already is.
We're listening to Hezekiah. Song is entitled Sorrow.
Prophecy coming true. He said his son would die for you. Follow his steps, you make it through. Freddie Rivers dried up. The 12 tribes don't ride through. The devil knows it's time for Messiah coming on fire.
Man of Yah, woman of Yah, called to greatness. The word, the Torah, the Basora of truth has gone down. Abba Yahuwah, I pray that every word that you have given me to give to them, they would receive it in Emunah. That it would quicken those that you have chosen, make alive those that you have chosen, and empower those who you have chosen. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. You are my strength and my Redeemer. May the Most High protect you and keep you. With that I say, man of Yah, call to greatness, woman of Yahuwah, call of greatness, queens of Yahuwah, beautifully and wonderfully made. Today Yahuwah's favored you. Be blessed.
Coming to the earth.
Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready.
Keep having visions, I'm alert.
You must be born again. The water, Ruach HaKodesh. Babylon's going down. It's time to come out.
Dream my 50, pray I see. All the sing angels could be me.
Come on out. That I say, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Be blessed.
Torah Garden, speaking the absolute truth. Torah Nation.